also holds one patent. He has robust publication record including 17 research paper in national and international journal. Sir also has published paper in national and international conference. So I would like to request sir to deliver the lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, HRDC. Good morning, everybody. Friends, in these morning sessions, we are dealing about this renewable energy conservation, pathways, efficiency, and losses. Yes. How many students are from this participants from this science, arts and commerce and engineering? How many participants from this science faculty?
Sir, very few are from humanities. That is subjects like Marathi and English languages and literature.
Very few. From this engineering? Okay, we'll start here our presentation now. ते मला डिसेबल केलंय का तुम्ही? हॅलो.
यस सर, तुमचा आवाज येतोय.
येतोय आता?
यस यस सर, यू आर ऑडिबल.
हो येतोय.
ते डिसेबल केलंय का मला?
हॅलो सर, प्लीज जरा कॅमेरा ऍडजस्ट करा, चेहरा दिसत नाहीये व्यवस्थित. थोडस असं वरती. हा, ओके सर, ओके ओके, थँक्यू.
आणि सर, तुमची पीपीटी स्क्रीन असेल तर शेअर करा. टायटल लिहून घेता येईल. टायटल लिहून घेता येईल.
ते डिसेबल म्हणतोय, होस्ट डिसेबल.
सर, आपल्या टॉपिकचं टायटल काय आहे?
रिन्युएबल एनर्जी कन्झर्वेशन पाथवेज एफिशियन्सी अँड लॉसेस. ते प्रकाश सरांना दिलंय ना?
I think, sir, you are not audible.
Yes. There is a message, host disable participant screen sharing.
Yeah, sir, you are the co-host, sir. You can share now.
Yes.
Sir, I will make your co-host. You can share our people.
Yes, yes. Yes, everybody has this screen now?
Yes, sir, you will. I will share. Just you can open this presentation.
Now, here, these learning objectives of this course is what is the energy conversion, what is the conversion efficiency matters, and how.
Sir, screen not, sir. Sir, screen not seen, sir.
स्क्रीन दिसत नाहीये?
नाही, ओपन नाही झाली अजून.
ओपन इथे माझ्याकडे दिसतंय ते.
आमच्याकडे कसं काय दिसत नाही मग? क्लिक करा तिच्यावर
सर आप
फक्त तुमचं
मिनिमाइज कीजिए, सिर्फ प्रेजेंटेशन
हा
ओपन
सर,
कीजिए.
क्लिक करा तिथं. पीपीटीला क्लिक करा सर.
हा
नाही.
पीपीटी वरती तुमचा कर्सर आहे तिथे क्लिक करा.
इथे मला दिसते ती स्क्रीन. हा एक.
तर ओपन करा सर.
हा
ओपन झाली नाही त्याची क्लिक करा डबल.
ओपन करा, ओपन. ओपन कुठून करायचं इथे.
सर आप एक बार स्टॉप कीजिए शेयरिंग, उसके बाद आप प्रेजेंटेशन से ओपन कीजिए.
अच्छा एक मिनिट.
ओके. ओके.
एक मिनिट.
अभी सिर्फ प्रेजेंटेशन जो आपने जो ओपन करके रखा वो सिर्फ ओपन कीजिए.
हाँ ये जो प्रेजेंटेशन है ना,
बॉटम साइड में शेयर ऑप्शन सर, फर्स्ट वाला.
हाँ बॉटम साइड में से क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं.
हाँ वहां से सर आपको क्या करना है, फर्स्ट वाला जो विजन आएगा आपका प्रेजेंटेशन, उसको क्लिक करके आपको शेयर करना है.
यानी स्क्रीन है, व्हाइट बोर्ड है और आईफोन है. अच्छा ये स्क्रीन पे.
हाँ स्क्रीन पर. ओके. यस. जस्ट यू कैन ओपन दिस प्रेजेंटेशन. सर तुमचं जे प्रेझेंटेशन आहे त्याच्यावर डबल क्लिक करून एकदा फाईल ओपन करा प्रेझेंटेशन.
एक मिनिट.
तुमची फाईल दिसते आम्हाला इथे, फक्त तुम्हाला ओपन करावं लागेल.
सर डबल क्लिक करा.
हे पाहता हे आता स्क्रीन मला दिसते इथे.
मिनिमाइज करा सर इथे से.
हा
मिनिमाइज करा, जो हा विंडो ओपन आहे तो मिनिमाइज करा. आय थिंक
हा
नाही समज, तुम्ही ते प्रेझेंटेशन ओपन करावं लागेल सर.
आता हे खालचं आहे ना शेअर स्क्रीन मधून ना.
हो हो.
आता मी त्याला गेला ना तर मला एक
ऍप्लिकेशन विंडो दिसेल, ऍप्लिकेशन विंडो मध्ये तुमची दिसेल सर.
मला तिथे स्क्रीन दिसतोय, व्हाईट
हा
बोर्ड दिसतोय.
स्क्रीन मध्ये स्क्रीन क्लिक.
स्क्रीन मध्ये ते बेसिक ॲडव्हान्स फाईल्स.
ओके सर, डबल क्लिक करा सर तुमचं प्रेझेंटेशन. ओके. ओपन करा सर.
ते देता येते परत. एक मिनिट. इथे ऑप्शन मध्ये काही याला सर.
सर तुम्ही एकदा ओपन करा सर त्याला. तुमच्या प्रेझेंटेशन ओपन झालंय का सर?
हा, माझं इथे ओपन होतं ते. हे काय ओपन माझ्याकडे होत आहे ते.
ओके. फक्त ही जी ओपन विंडो ना त्याला मिनिमाइज करा, क्लोज नका करू सर. फक्त मिनिमाइज करा एकदा.
मिनिमाइज.
फर्स्ट वाला ऑप्शन सर, मायनस वाला चिन्ह. ओके, हा ती मिनिमाइज करा.
हा.
नाही सर, नाही सर. एकदा स्टॉप करायला लागेल सर, तुमचा काहीतरी विषय होता इथे. तर पुन्हा स्टॉप करा हा सेरी, पुन्हा एकदा सेव्ह करा.
एक मिनिट.
ऍप्लिकेशन विंडो मध्ये येईल सर, त्याच्यामधून सेव्ह करा. सर आय थिंक ती ओपन होत नाही, हे ओपन करून बघा सर. एक वर्ड फाईल आहे सर.
एक फॉरवर्ड फाईल ओपन करू का?
येस. हा, ती ओपन करून बघा सर. ओके. यस, इट्स विजिबल सर.
येते का?
हा, ओपन झाली सर.
ठीक आहे, दिसतंय का सर आता?
हो सर, दिसतंय दिसतंय. तुम्ही फक्त
बरोबर.
त्याला प्रेझेंटेशनच्या मोडवर टाका, विषय आहे याच्यात.
प्रेझेंटेशनच्या मोडमध्ये म्हणजे?
फुल स्क्रीन करा सर प्रेझेंटेशन.
अच्छा, ये.
काय करणार सर, असं पण असेल तर दिसेल. Yes.
दिसतंय का हे?
हा, दिसतंय सर. येस, सुरू कर सर.
फुल
Yes.
स्क्रीन दिसतंय ना?
नाही, पण ओके. इट्स
सर स्लाइड शो म्हणून आहे
हां.
वर.
करू का
इट्स
सर
ओके
स्टार्ट?
सर. येस, इट्स ओके सर.
काय हरकत नाही,
Yes.
करा.
ठीक आहे.
चालेल सर.
हा, बोला.
Now, the learning objectives of this presentation is what is the energy of this conversion, that is, what is the conversion energy matters, and how to compare the renewable systems quantitatively in these different categories here. Now, the energy is a crucial input in the process of economic, social, and industrial developments. And besides that, the other classical factors like this, we can say land, the labor, capital, and as well as the energy is vital importance in contrast with this development. Now, secondly, this high energy consumptions has traditionally have been associated with this higher quality of this life, which is in terms of relative to these gross domestic products. The concerns of these economic developments among has drawn the considerable interest in these global energy resources. In India, India has this strong, impressive growth of near about this 7.8% of this GDP in this quarter. The most significant chemical energy sources are coals, oils, and electricity, which are here now the convention. A large amount of this energy is derived from these chemical fuels like this waste from this agriculture, firewood, also the dungs. It has significant that the growth in this consumptions of these oil products as well as this electricity have been more rapid than this coal. India has total forest area near about this 75 millions of the sectors, which forms 22% of this geographical land in this India. The huge gap between this demand and supply resulting here, the deforestation beside this past that the agriculture waste, the development of this non-conventional renewable energy sources on the huge scales to meet the energy requirements in this rural as well as the urban. Here, the renewable energy systems. Now, in this first, that is the energy conversion. What is actual this? What is happens in this conversion of these renewable systems. To transform this suitable form into this usable energy form, the conversion process should be crucial for the stability analysis within this environmental science, such as here the solar, wind and is converted into electric and this other form of this energy suitable for these various applications. Now, we can have the number of examples of these conversions is here. The conversions are that in case of the solar suns with solar panels converting here directly to this electrical. Now, the second here, if you take example of wind pushes the turbine blades, spinning a generator produce electricity or this power mills or say directly to the water pumps. And is also the hydro. In this hydro system, flowing of this water is converted into the potential as well as here the kinetic energy to spin, the generates the electricity. Now, in this conversion efficiency, which is very key factors during this conversion or transducer procedure here, it depends. It can say it is the ratio of useful energy output to the total energy of this input. It is directly related with this energy conversion here. Now, we can categorize this efficiency in terms of say three parts here. That is say for this cost effective here. In this higher conversion efficiency is a key for this goal in the research. Because of this, it makes the photoelectric cells or these photoelectric plates and wind technology more cost competitive with conventional fossil fuels as well as these oils. Now here, the second key factor is reduce land as well as resource use. Increase the efficiency allows for the similar concept. The installations to generate the same amount of this power at this high efficiency of these solar panels means less surface area achieves same energy output, which reduces, we can say, the land area, also minimizes the environmental impact, lowering the cost of supporting constructions, or we can say the infrastructures. And the third is the system celerity and performance. Say for this high efficiency power converters such as inverters ensures that electricity should be generated by these various sources like this wind and is solar converted with this minimum wear. And there is also the one factor that is the maximum power tracking. That is, we can say in that systems which are now the household heating in these PV systems. In short, that is the MPPT system. Now, in this, the efficiency can be increased by MPPT algorithms, which use the modules provided by the manufacturers. Also, we adjust the operating point to get exact maximum power, which changes with this the environment. Now, here the three system points are achieved by means of say the conversions, different methods, that is, and the efficiencies, and here the comparison with this all this the convention and this non-convention systems here. Now the global systems now before of this 17 or the 18 of this decades, we use here the conventional energy, that is the fossil fuels, oils. Nowadays, from this 1980, the utilization of the non-conventional energy, that is renewable energies, are preferred because the number of factors associated with that. The global situation the drilling results now from this I hide that slides that is they highlights how the non-conventional energy demands increases from this 1980 or you can say the 30 to 40 years here. The conventional oil and gas reserves will probably be exhausted between this 220 to 50. It is mandatory in this future. Coal is worst possible fossil fuels most pollutant of these fossil fuels and that it produces the greatest amount of greenhouse gases. Uh, but this world has least 150 years of supply of this coal. Now, this sustainable future is possible if you continue to rely on this fossil fuel for this energy. Therefore, the conventional source are the here the matter of concerns. The energy generated from these non-conventional sources by means of these three converters, that is the thermal, mechanical, and this electrical, as well as chemical energy and this radiant energy. Now, from this thermal, it is associated with this temperature of the system arises from this random motions of these molecules. It is commonly just from this heat generated from this combustion process, the solar collectors and the geothermal sources, which heat is converted into this useful work. Now, for example, if you see, if there's some changes, if you pass this current through this liquid matter here, then what happens? Its molecules get heated and vibrated. As you see from this quantum mechanics here, that is these states according to these electrons configurations. What happens here? The electrons orient in this particular location, that is the dipoles and these monopoles, and causing here the thermal energy or thermal vibrations. Now, second category from this mechanical energy. Now here the energy produced from this motion or this position, it includes the kinetic energy such as the rotation to turbines, as well as the potential energy from this water stored from this at this height, which is the technology used in case of this hydroelectricity. The mechanical energy is often converted into electrical energy by means of turbines, generators, or this any other means here. Now, the electrical energy results from this movement of these electrical charges. One of the most widely used in the form of, say, energy provides here the household appliances. Generally, we use a number of domestic appliances nowadays here. The industrial machines and these communications systems, renewable energy such as the solar photovoltaic panels, wind turbines directly generates the electricity. Now, the chemical energies here resulting from this movement of these electric charges from this, if you say in the case of say battery, there is a poles, that is anode and this cathodes. In the movement of these charges, what happens here? The temperature of the battery gets also the heated, or the due to the vibration of these molecules in the content of that the chemicals or battery liquid. What happens here? It generates the heat, and this heat can be used for the for the steam generations. The renewable sources such as these photoelectric panels as well as these wind turbines directly or indirectly generates the electricity. Now there is a matrix of say energy from one form, second form, three form like this, or it may be of this interconnected. And last year, these radiant solars, and generally they are preferred in these PV plates, particularly in solar energy transmissions in the form of electromagnetic waves. Now, these electromagnetic waves, these patterns, you know very well. This is a very big pattern is here, containing starting from this cosmic radiations, and then gamma rays, X-rays, then ultraviolets, then visible, then we have IR patterns, and then ultrasonics. From the radiations from the suns to this earth have the number of scattering effects, and due to this scattering effect, we will get the multiple energy transmission in this atmosphere as well as the number of devices. Now, in this PV solar plate, we use that radiations to generate the electric current. The radiant energy plays a central role in the sustained energy conversion systems. Now, how this energy conversion, what is the actual concepts is here. Now, input process, then output like this. We cannot convert that input directly to this output. We have to go through the number of blocks here. That is the input systems, whatever the infrastructure is needed for that. That is in the case of secondary. Here we use the different type of converters, PP, MPPT, or we can say let's say number of converters, DC to DC, DC to AC converters, and the finally to have this reliable energy what to meet to all these things. Here we need here the design systems generally used in the case of say we can say in the case of say power electronics, that is the maximum power should be the transfer to the systems. From that we can have the maximum load can be the operated here. Now here the principle of this energy conservation is nothing but the laws of conservation, but here the energy cannot be created or be destroyed. If the loss does not obey, then the conversion system is associated with this number of losses here. Now, this energy split, if you say that is initially the vital role in the human life, as possible to device made is driven by this energy. So the importance of this energy conversion is generated by the principle of energy conservation as well as effectively manage a resource. While doing all these things, we should have to keep in this mind. There are the enormous number of the natural sources that can have that potential energy sources. If you in this according to this diagram, if you take example of say the flow meter drives the blade of the say turbines. That is from this primary first block to this second blocks. Where to go? The number of stages here. That is first stage is, that is water drives the blades of these turbines into generate it. That is, and second is to have this. The second example, if we say the man eats, say the some matter, we can say the apples, it can generate the potential energy, as well as the light is converted into this chemical, or we can say the photosynthesis, which is happening in these plants. Also, we have the example of, say, electrical into this heating. That is, these systems can be designed from this final initial to this final through this considering the efficiency of each and this every blocks here. Now, here, why the renewable energy conversions in the matters? Here, we require that energy should be sustainable, then energy security, environmental impact, as well as it should be the compact in the infrastructures. Now, the renewable energy conversion process is transforming the natural appreciable sources like sunlight, winds, water into this usable electricity. It should be critical than these conventional sources, but essential to migrate the climate change. That is also the improving the public health and the strengthness. Now, combating climate changes and the environmental damage here, we have to take on the number of factors. Again, the drastic emission should be it should be the reduced here. How we reduce is renewable produce little to greenhouse gases, and therefore limiting global warming should be the 1 to 2 degree sometimes. Also, secondly, the lower air and this water pollutions. What happens here? The shifting from this coal to this gas to as well as wind, solar and hydro significantly reduces air pollutant that cause the respiratory damage. It will avoid that disease. Now, the reduced water usage, unlike this thermal power plant that requires a very large amount of this power, steam generations, wind, PVs, photovoltaic plates does not require, say, the water, which protects the previous water sources as well as its reliability. Here, in this figure shows the conversion from this sun rays into the electricity. We require actually see the number of process where to go from that. That is this from this sun. That is the heliopads are existed to collect here the radiations which obeys here. The Einstein's equation is equal to h mu. The material of these heliopads are, according to the Einstein equation, E is equal to h mu plus 1 of m square. We say that 1 of m square is related with these work functions. The material coated to this plate such that we will get maximum amount of this radiations we can get here. Sometimes, in case of you is here the solar plates will get the direct electricity. But in say rare areas, or we can say the steam generations in the hybrid systems, which here the radiation receivers which heating the water, and due to the heating of this water, what happens? Steam is generated. Then this steam turbines are used to drive the DC generators, or we can say we can use here direct AC generators rather than this DC generators, because there is a demerits to drive the DC generators. AC power we can drive easily from the at a distance. But if you have the DC outputs or DC generators, we have to require the DC to AC converters. And therefore, if the system is complicated, we use the number of, suppose we can also connect with here to this generator, the number of things we can use here, the turbine also, from this flow of water, from this dam, from this river like this, or also we can have the connectivity due to this PV plates here or solar supply here. Therefore, the hybrid systems are generally preferred for that. We see what is the here the conversion matrix here. Now, in this matrix here, what happens? The 1 minute. Here, in this multiple conversions, I have already said that that is the PV turbines as well as these steam generators. We can correlate all this in this one system, so we can build in this compact unit or interconnected, and I will compare that technologies, different technologies here. Here, the figure shows the conversion matrix using this mapping of this IP energy to this output energy. Multiple pathway we have. Say, I have in this case of say this from this sun radiations, then turbines, we can have the pathways, our combined matrix to this to generate here the our end use applications. Here, some conversion matrix of say the initial energy sources are shown here. That is the from this electromagnetic radiations. Here the conversion process is photosynthesis, solar photovoltaic cells, and the solar absorption. Nowadays, in these agricultures, these systems can be used of these light systems in the China and there's another countries. They uses the number of EV emitters to have this growth of this plant or particular plants here. Now, second is here this solar photovoltaic cells, very well to generate the electricity, and is the solar absorptions to get the thermal. Now, what happens in this solar absorption from this number as shown already? It is just like the steam generation. Now, chemical from these fuels and these foodstuffs here they are converted energy converted by this metabolism and they say combustions, then fuel cells now available, then this chemical process to convert that chemical to this the another form of this energy which is useful in the generate the electricity. Now nowadays the nuclear power plant is used here to generate the electricity by means of this fission reactions. Now, during this fission of this uranium 9238 with these neutrons, what comes you will get here the generation of this steam due to heating of this water, because what happens, this uranium rod is along with the neutron source, and as the intensity of this neutron source is increases, the fusion reaction also the increases. During this fusion reactions, we get the number of charged particles, again the multiple neutrons, protons, deuteriums, then we can say the alpha particles, beta particles. And they can also not they use in the case of say the thermal energy or electromagnetic energy. The system can also be used to generate or for this research and development lab for this analysis, or you can say the study of this charged particle created by these nuclear fission reactions. If we say for this what amount of energy is liberated for this for the 1 gram of say the uranium, if you say in this reaction, it generates the 6 into 10 raised to 6 kilocalorie, or you can say in this gross, that is 1 kg of this uranium can have the equivalent amount of energy equal to the 5,000 tons of the coal. Means which is the difference is very much high here. This what is the cost of say 5,000 tons? What the manpower and the system infrastructure is required to collect all these coals, and there is the transportations. Therefore, this nuclear power is we can say it is a smart power. There are the 4 plants available in this India. Here it is the one plant is at this Mankur, DRC. Second as this Narora. One is at this Kaiga. One at this Calcutta here. Now there are certain, but apart from that, there are also the certain disadvantage of this nuclear power plant is here, because this we liberate that water into this sea, or any other way case the rivers. And this water is contaminated by the number of charged particles. Therefore, the matter should be considered for the irrigation, as well as say in case of say agricultures. If you have the time in this next slide or the next sections, we will discuss about what the nuclear contaminations are present in this soil, as well as then the foods here. Now, the next is here the kinetic. That is, I would say kinetic related with these motions. We can say by means of the frictions, we have electricity generations. We have the different form of energy, that is thermal, kinetics, as well as this electrical. Same thing happening is in this case of say this heating here. Now, conversion, electrical conversion by means of this electrolysis, the resistance, airing, electric motors like this. Here, the constitutional matrix is shown in this columns and this matrix. Here, the row shows the energy sources and column shows the output forms. Now, if you see from this, we have the number of conversion one form into the another form. In the physics or instrumentations, we say the transducer systems generally. That is one form to the another. We cannot directly convert to that, but by using the number of intermeter blocks, we can convert it is smartly. Now, in this last, that is in the score of these columns, this indicates here the efficiencies here. In this case of this efficiency. Now, the efficiency of this PV cells is near about say 6 to 35%. For this solar thermal and heating, it is near about 3 to 7% efficiency. For this hydroelectrics, it is maximum. That is 85 to 90% energy is converted. And for this here, the biofuel, only this 35% energy is converted. For say geothermal electricity, only the 1 to 2%. What happens in the geothermals? In this core of the earth, the water gets heated. You know very well, that is the hotspot spots in this India, 2 to 3. There, what happens here? The water gets heated about this 50 to 70 degree, but it cannot be sufficient to drive the generators or the steam system. Therefore, also requires some heliospots here, heliostars, and then convert into the electricity. Now, for this wind, it is 7 to 20% efficiency. Artificial photosynthesis here. We will not get the data from that here. Again, from this uranium breeder, that is 2 into 10 raised to 13 joules energy is liberated from that here. Of this thorium breeder, it is large, 3.6 into 10 raised to 6. Here what happens? The thorium requires some purifications, but therefore it requires some breeder reaction. But what happens here? The most abundant thorium is available in India. However, the uranium 92 to 38 is available in this. There is one station in the Bihar, that is a Jadugoda. But it does not prefer to collect the pure uranium, as the quantity is very less in that. Then this, we can say the fusion system, so as deuterium fusions. The energy also is high, that is 1.6 into 10 raised to 14 joule. Also in case of say last, that is deuterium fusion, that is 8 to 3 into 10 raised to 30 joules. Generally, this deuterium also used in this generates the electricity in the NPC systems, which is installed in this India. Now, during these conversions, there are the number of laws of these conversions which govern the systems here. The efficiency calculation, the simple systems here, the useful energy at this output, or you can see the dealer load to this input energy. Now, if you see, and this is the diagram here, there are the 3 examples are shown. Here, actually, we use here the terms for this. It is the exergics here. This law focuses on this quantity of energy state that the energy is conserved, and this efficiency is defined the ratio of useful output energy to this total input here. Now for this oil furnace here, fuel to heat. Now in this, the energy is of this exhaustive type. Also in this second type here, it introduces the ability of this energy, and not all these energies equally useful. High quality energy like electricity, mechanical works can fully converted into the works, whereas the low quality of energy cannot be used. Here the entropy losses between the renewable degradation of energy then quality during this conservation process. Now here the entropy also is important according to from this second law. What is the entropy in this chemistry here? It is the ability to do the work. Then the system has some entropies, that is equal to the dq by this T. This is according to this formula. Now, as a term involved here, the exorgic is here. The maximum work is full that can be obtained from the energy source when it comes to into the equilibrium with surrounding by the environments. Like this energy, exergy is not conserved and destroyed by the instability. Now, here you can see the number of examples of that here. That is the solar energy systems, PV cells, or the thermals. Energy analysis. In that case, it reveals that the photoelectric cells have the higher exergy efficiency than the solar collectors, because they converts the sunlight directly into this high grade electricity rather than this low grade heat. We can have also the number of examples of this. There may be the example of this, say, wind energy also. Wind turbines directly we can get the focus. Wind energy turbine directly focuses on this kinetic energy of this air, whereas insufficiency arises from this turbulent waves nose. And this turbine blades, the exergic input is higher than this electric due to the fraction of this aerodynamics. Therefore, whatever the energy we have, we can utilize maximum in the case of, say, a PV cell rather than this number of process like this steam engines like this here. Now, for this thermal energy systems suffers here the significant exergy losses because of only the fraction of heat can be converted into the works, especially when the temperature difference between this source and the environment is here the small here. Now, there is a one theorem on that this thermal energy system, that the energy destruction is directly proportional to the rate of entropy generation. I think this theorem is from the Goyle's Stodola. That is, the energy destruction is directly proportional to the rate of generation of entropy. Means how this entropy is get increases, it should be the decreases in that rate also. That is the we say in this Carnot cycle of the steam engines, that is the railway engines like this. And the same thing is happening here. And last is the entropy generation during the heat transfer, friction, mixing, and this combustions leads to exergy destruction, reducing the useful काय हाँ बरं. Now in the generation, entropy generation to the heat transfer the friction, exchange, then combustions lead to exergy destruction, reducing the useful output. Now, what happens during this? The heat temperature sources have the higher exergy content, while the low temperature heat is considered low quality energy of limited potential here. And here, the energy loss categories diagram I have shown from these three different, that is the thermal, mechanical, and this electricals here. By means the trigonometry here.
इसमें फूल लग रहा है चाइना रोज पे फूल लग रहा है चाइना रोज पे ये वाला
Units are used in the energy and this power system.
इनके इसलिए ये सारी इलेक्ट्रिक मशीन को ये कैसा पता चलता है तो उसे यूज करिए नहीं देखने से याद रखना इसीलिए मेरा पहला टारगेट था सारी पेड़ लगाना तो फिर मैं बेटी हुई ना जैसे उसको याद रखना आसान तो बेटी भी होगी अरे हो चुकी थी ना पैदा तो तुम्हारी क्लास तो करेगी
The capacity factor here, the capacity factor is it is the ratio of this actual energy release produced by this power plant over a given period of maximum possible energy. It is good to have the produce it operated at full rated capacity continuously during the period. Now, it is, you can see the ratio of this capacity factor. It measures generally the performance, typically ranging from its value of the, I think, that is 10 to 25% for the silver and 25 to 45 for this wind and over 70% for this geothermal. It is lower than the fossil fuels due to entertainments and natural resource availability. Now, generally, this capacity build factor is useful to determine the actual energy aid, not just the peak power potentials, what we get here from that during this conversion. What is the conversion consistency here? It is important, like during this, the numerical analysis that here some conversions equivalents are given here. Generally, we use here kilowatt and this joule, and in say electricity we use watt and this kilowatt. Importance of the renewable energy systems here. The renewable sources such as the solar winds are entertainments, meaning they do not operate to full capacity to all time due to the variation of sunlight and this wind. Therefore, we say it is the meter tons here. For this PV plates or the solar electricity in this Maharashtra, generally we get the efficient power from this 11 AM to this 4 PM. The capacity factor for say elastic measure of performance unlike the rated power, which represents only the maximum possible output under the ideal conditions. Now, so it helps compare different renewable technologies, just like this solar PVs, these lower capacity factors than winds, hydropowers, even if it is installed, the capacity at similars. because what happens, they are not intermittent and therefore provide the continuous power this 24 by this 7. And this factor, capacity factor is important in this economical analysis, grid planning, and as well as the estimating the annual energy generations. Conversion efficiency rates and now generally the measures of these renewable sources are here, the conversion rate and the with these efficiencies. A system can be here the high efficiency but the lower conversion rate, such as the solar PVs convert the energy efficiently, but only when the sunlight is available. There is their limitations, and the steady sources, as discussed earlier here, and intermittent sources are the solar and this wind. Sometimes the wind also we have the continuous 24 by 7 in certain hilly areas. Both parameters are essential for the grid planning as well as the storage sizing and the reliable energy supply. Here, some guidance of this 4 season in this India to get the terrestrial radiation is here. That is, the sun radiates this energy to the earth in the form of electromagnetic radiation. The spectrum of this radiation varies from according to this wavelength of these cosmic radiations to the very high frequency radiations of very long wavelength. What happens at this the core of the sun here? The cosmic radiations are the intense, and the frequency as well as this energy is very high, near about this 2 to 300 mega electron volts, and at reaches of this earth at this different seasons, we get the different electromagnetic patterns here. The earth needs a year for its orbits around the sun, during which it has the 4 seasons. Also, the rotation of this axis of this earth always has the same angle. First one, hemisphere forces the sun, and then the other one here. Therefore, the radiant energy at this earth is not continuous in the 4 seasons here. In the second figure, seen here, the principles of, say, extraterrestrial use solar radiations for the satellites here to get the solar cells to the earth in the form of micros. We can have these advanced systems also. The global energy paths here. This path is of this matrix of 3 initial energies to this final electrical energy. Here, the radiation sources here. From the stars, we will get the cosmic, then ultracosmics, then ionized gases. During this interaction with this matter from this some space of this earth, that is, it gives the X-rays, UV radiations, visible radiations, and as towards this earth in this atmosphere, its energy get decreases, or we can say the its wavelength increases. We have this UV radiation, visible radiation, high frequency radiations. And at this Earth surface, we get here generally the visible and ultraviolet radiations. In this atmosphere, due to the solar radiations, we also get the radioactive isotopes of, say, the carbon, C612. You will get here the C6, C13, as well as this 14. Initially, from this nitrogen, 740, from these beta particles, we get here the C6, C from this target of, say, alpha particles is C24 from that helium and ionosphere, we'll get here the C16, C6, and this 14 by emitting, say, one beta positron, we'll get here C6, C13, which is radioactive elements, which is also available in this Earth surface. Now here, the spectrum is of, say, black body radiation is describe the relation between this object of this temperature and this wavelength of this electromagnetic radiation and its radiation it emits here. There we can say the two examples of generally of this black body radiations. This one example is here, the light spectra emitted by the heated object, and the second example, good example, is the toaster heating elements and the light bulb filaments. Now, if you say simple, in the case of, say, neon bulb, which is generally used previously, that is, we say the tungsten wire lamp is here. What happens after heating of that the coil? It radiates the radiations, which is the black body radiation. And the example of, say, the toaster machines is here. What happens in this toaster machine? It gets heated, and after removal of that source, we will get here some radiations, and this radiation is called as a black body radiations. Now, extraterrestrial solar radiations, then the black body radiations, and the solar radiation at the sea are also are the one of the renewable sources for our utilization. Here, the barometer is meter is used here for the measurement of, say, the global radiation here. Actually, what happens in this construction of this meter, we are measuring the global solar radiations here based on the sensitivities in the stability as well as the accuracy. Here, there is a glass dome in which should have the uniformly high transmission characteristics throughout the spectral range of, say, 0.3 or can say 0.3 micrometer to the 3 micrometer. There is the measurement of this diffuse radiations only be directly at these points here, concentrating points. The sensitive part of this instrument is here. That is the silver disc of some few diameters in this coated with this optical, say, the black lacquer. It is just like this paint here, and there is a 15 junctions here of fine bismuth silver thermocouples, just like in this of, say, transducer, are in the thermal contact with this disc while the cold junctions are in contact with this copper tube of this instrument. Here, the unit is mounted on this base of cell, the double wall brass tube, which is chrome externally and is blackened internally here. 1 minute. हाँ कान दे हाँ समजेल ना ते बोलतो ना आज हो बोलतो हो बोलतो बर बर बोलतो मी बोल solar thermal systems here, which converts the radiant. Actually, what happens? This is the construction of the solar plates. Use solar cylindrical pipes used to convert here solar energy to this heat energy. Here, sometimes the flat plate collectors as well as the pipe collectors are used, or also the concentric collectors. But what happens here? The concentric collectors requires the maintenance than these flat plate collectors, as well as this efficiency of these flat collectors is near about 70 to 80%. However, of these concentric collectors or the glass tube collector is near about the 30 to 40%. In this cloudy environment, the concentric collectors does not work with reliable efficiency, but plate goes do good work here. Now, sometimes here in this flat plate collectors, there is the two types here. That is, the water is circulated in these plates, and in second type here, there is a isolated systems. There the distilled water is rotating in this plate, and there is a thermal contact between this plate liquid, plate water, and this the inner tank of this isolator here. The one merit benefit is that here, due to this distilled water, the flat plate doesn't corrosive with these chemicals, or we can say the salt, plating of this salt, like this calcium, magnesium, like this. This does not require any corrective measures. However, the pipe collectors are of the continuous in these observations, and the maintenance is very high. Here, say some how the technology used to some collector concepts are used for the typical use are shown in this table. That is, say, low cost unglazed flat plate collectors. Grid flat plate collectors made by this corrosion resistance and UV stable polymer material, simple construction with low thermal losses at moderate temperature, and residential and commercial heating elements. Now, actually, what happens? In the case of, say, combined PV and the solar thermal collectors, the solar thermal collectors is that heat from these photoelectric cells reducing the cell temperature and improving the electrical efficiency while simultaneously produced by this water. Now, the typical use also for this residential or this commercial purpose. Also, the same case of this rooftop and concentrating collectors. Solar thermal collectors here, that is the flat press evacuated tubes as well as the concentrating collectors, line focus, point focus. Each has the categorized then, that is linear Fresnel reflectors, parabolic through collectors. For this point focus, parabolic. Then the tower type here, centralized. For this non-concentric collectors, that categories into the flat plate collectors, evacuated tube collectors. Nowadays, in these collectors, solar thermal collectors are used in this solar oven in the home appliances as a domestic devices generally in some areas of this India. If you see here the flat plate of these collectors, then there should be the optical property of the collector should be the importance here. What is its window glass, that is spectral, absorption, emittance, and here the reflectance. Generally here which has the reflection is large, which is this betas, among which it is the 84. That is the glass indium oxide is good for that here, as well as for the selective infrared selective observers, as well as this black nickel is also the good for this infrared observer. Now, this material is categorized in this spectral regions for the visible infrared, like this. And what's its value to this? Absorptance and emittance and this reflectance here. Generally, for this visible, the indium oxide is preferred in this, you can say for the commercial applications. While doing the collective type, concentric type of this collector here, here the transmissions and this reflection and refractions are shown in this diagram here. If you say at this incidence at this glass wall of this glass pipe, what happens if you say, if you take here of the material of say indium oxide, we get at this visible, the acceptance is here, emittance is 0.79. And for this same time here, this infrared, it gets here, emittance is 0. Therefore, we achieve the maximum amount of heat from that material, glass material. Therefore, it should be the prepared, and which is shown in this figure. That is while traveling through this collector wave covers both these diffuse components of these global solar radiations are subjected to the absorption as well as the reflective losses here. This is the physics of that material. Now here the power balance in the flat plate collectors, the balance shows that the main mechanism of this radiation losses from these collectors are the reflection, radiation, and this convention. Here the losses are shown from these collectors, reflection, and the radiation and convention for here. Here the design parameters are just shown in these blocks. That is covers, that is heat exchanger, then absorbers, then insulations, black coatings is here, then upper is the metal coating is like this, and this is the useful energy available of that here. And generally we use here the heat exchanger systems in the solar heater system. We can also use the different type of liquid in this heat exchanger with different properties of visible as well as the infrared radiation. Here, the photoelectric conversion of the photon to this electricity. Now, this basically works on the principle of this diode, semiconductor diodes. Here, material is the same. Here, that is only the impurities as well as material properties are the here different. Now, here the N type of material, then depletion layer, then P type materials, and this here the back electrical back contact. Here the insulator is there here. And there is a connectivity between this P type and this N type of junctions. Generally, this depletion having its property to high depletion layer to work good as a formula of this current generated by this photo cell or this photodiode as a I is equal to I0 in bracket E raised to M Vf upon Kt minus 1. This way it works on this principle of say this temperature as well as this Boltzmann's constants of that material here. Here the structure is shown, its cuttings here, and its cross sections is the slab directions. Here, there are the 6 main types of the solar panels available because what happens? These are mounted in this panel in the forms of these cells, that is columns and these rows here. Now, the limitations of these photovoltaic cells is the maximum irradiation to this cell, this surface should be the avoided in the at this month of say the April and this May to avoid heat oxidations of these materials. Generally, the upper material N type. Sometimes what happens, there should be the decreasing of this, or say the width of the depression there goes on the decreasing here. Now, there are the 6 type of solar panels are available in this India. Here, it's categorized into the polycrystalline, then monocrystalline, then thin film, then transparent silver tiles, and then the periscoids like this here. And they are, we can see the parameters: average efficiency, typical lifespan, key advantage and this key disadvantage. Here we see for the poly crystalline. Generally now this paper in some appliances here, which has the efficiency near about this 18 to 21%, and this lifespan of this 25 to this 30 years. Key factor is here, it is cheaper than the monocrystalline, but here we have not get yet the data of its availability. That is no longer available. Here what happens, generally this system is useful for the particular requirement as well as the infrastructures. Available in this 100 watts, 700 watts. Now second, generally which prefers generally in Maharashtra, that is the monocrystallines. Good efficiency, that is 20-25%, and is typical lifespan is near about the 30 to 40%. Efficient availability is and is more expensive than this same types. That is the cost is rare high than this poly. And this again, the third variety is the thin film. Its efficiency is 70 to this 90%. The typical lifespan is 10 to 20 years, less, very less, and it is a flexible, most flexible option and low power here output. Again, there are some solar tile. Transparent is also the just like the from the thin transparent film is available. That is the say transparent, which has the lifespan of 25 to 30, blends in with window and this low efficiency. Then this solar tile also in the new design is available. And the average 10 to 20% efficiency, and typical lifespan are 25 to 30. Here, the key advantage that we can have the roof installations, but very expensive. And last is the perovskite nowadays, latest is efficiency is very good. That is 29 to 31% here. And lifetime is also good. That is 25 to 30. It has this highest economy and not yet available in this India here. Now, among all this, the monocrystalline PV plates are used in the India. Now, here, if you have the quantity of this thermal current generated by this diode can be studied with the help of, say, I don't have any black diagram here. There is a shunt resistance, then series resistance, which decides here the utility of these solar plates here. Because what happens in this Maharashtra, there is a wholesale use in these two applications generally. That is the Pradhan Mantri Surya Ghar Yojana, Mukta Bijli Yojana, that is under the, I think, DBT link is there on this net, which has the subsidized in the about 2 kilowatts, I think 30,000, as well as this 3 kilowatts, they're about 78,000 subsidized on these installments of these solar plates. Also, the availability of the solar pump for these farmers, that is the Mukhyamantri Saur Yojana, Saur Krishi Pump Yojana, like this. Also near about this 1 lakh of these that connections are provided, I think, to this farmer for the sustainability in the case of, say, agriculture, and they can utilize the drive the pump at the day also. But as the in these two schemes, subsidized schemes, what happens here? The subsidized person does not know about the variable matter of these, the types of plates, then characteristic of materials, then as well as what is its internal resistance, what is its, you can see the Q points like this. The the provider or the agents get cheated. They cheated the farmers as well as the installers and roof installer at the homes. They doesn't know or knowledge about that. They easily change these materials, or you can say there is a manipulations in these plates. Therefore, its guarantee of this 20 to 30 or 40 years, it is a matter of the concerns. तर या 2 योजनांमध्ये जे पैसे आता आपल्याला सबसिडाइज मिळत आहे की त्याची काही गॅरंटी नहीं कि कितने सालों चल सकते हैं, इसका कोई गारंटी नहीं है कि प्लेट्स जो बैठा रहे हो। उसी में जो मैनिपुलेशन हो रहा है कि डुप्लीकेट्स, जो प्लेट्स डुप्लीकेट बोले तो जो प्लेट्स यूज है वो रीयूज कर रहे, दैट इज कुछ लोग है, एजेंट्स है, दे आर इन्वॉल्व इन दिस systems. Now, the output of these plates are here, the DC. We can store in this battery. And also, we can have the DC to ACT converter, or say sometimes DC to DC converter, as we require here. That is, the power electronics is required for that here. Here, some PV conversion matrix are shown here. That is, the output power is provided to the boost converter here. Here, the whatever the energy is here, it is in terms of the watt per meter square here. And DC to DC boost converter, which provides here the impedance matching also for the both, that is the for instrument as well as this plate, to provide the maximum power or current. And then secondly, the DC to DC, DC to AC converter for the number of applications which is in support with this voltage source control. The voltage control source is useful to control the cycles systems, or we can say to synchronize the cycle to the number of hybrid devices here. And this MPPT is maximum power point tracking. It tracks at each and every times of this number of hybrid devices which uses the microcontroller system is here. And lastly is the reactive power, is the not working electrical energy, but that will that oscillator between this inverter and this grid to maintain voltage level measured to this 1 ampere. Now, to direct conversion pathways, the photovoltaic systems where the radiant energy is converted straightforward into this electrical energy, unlike this most conventional or the renewable power systems, no mechanical or thermal intermediate steps is involved. That we can get directly, therefore doesn't require any the 2 to 3 steps, or we can say the losses step here. Because if you have the number of devices during these conversions, and these devices say the loss, if you say mathematically the loss 1, loss 2, loss 3, loss 4, and finally the loss get multiplied and not get added. Therefore, the efficiency of these instruments or these say conversion systems are the more lossy and does not have any subtractory due to the low efficiency. The performance and these economics parameters are shown here of this radiation for these various considering the various parameters for these different countries here, Egypt, India, conventional Egypt, compared to this Egypt and this India. This the economic parameter here shown this the how much amount of the units per annual are the produced. So useful energy from this table is near about this 1,300 kilowatt per year is generally produced in this India. Here, the conceptual of these wind energy systems. Simple here, the low speed here, the shaft, then the gears, then again the shaft systems, then the control scheme for the hybrid maintenance, then the generators, and the power electrics to control these blocks, and this electric interface to for this electrical, here the gates. Simple mechanism. Therefore, the efficiency of this wind generator is near about 80 to 95% here. But the maintenance and the cost of this wind energy conversion much expensive than this the PV solar systems as well as the conventional sources. In the Maharashtra, at these 2 sites there are the installation of this wind energy conversion from this Ghats, Sahyadri Ghats, and second in near about I think the beach districts. At these 2 ports, it is generally they are located. What are the blocks used here? Now, if you see the one windmill, if you consider for this conversion, it generates near about 1 megawatt per day. Here, if you generate the 50 megawatt, means we require here the 50 windmills for that year. Conversion matrix represents the functional stages of this wind energy conversion. Here, wind is primary energy source and the rotor acts as a mechanical. Then what are this interface? This with this similar, the 3 blocks is here, shown here. This is from this completely the electronic conversion, that is the power electronics. And here the T filters generally used for direct connection to the grid lines. Yeah. some slide are missing in this presentation because that PDF files is unable to open. Now, from these discussions, we say that is the whatever this non-conventional energy, why it matters due to its sustainability in these all fields, generally this industrial as well as this economic field, its security, as also we use the wide application as well as this rural and urban cities also, and this as the emissions of this green house gases. Therefore, the environmental impact is less, or you can see the negligible than these conventional sources. Yeah. What is the time is here? 12:52. Okay. Hello.
हॅलो सर.
हा आपण पुढचं आता थोड्या वेळानं पाहू त्याला थोडं.
ओके सर.
हा येस.
नाव
मला ते हॅलो
सर.
हा ते फाईल ते कोणती ओपन होते त्याच्यात PDF मध्ये होते का साधा मागे याची होते वरची?
हा ते मी वोट ऑफ थँक्स देऊ का सर मग आता?
हा चालेल.
सेशन. हा. On behalf of MMTCC, UGC, HRDC, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, I thanks to Dr. Mahajan sir for their lecture on renewable energy conversion pathway efficiency and losses and illuminate various points. I wish to express heartfelt thanks to Professor Dhanashree J. Mahajan, Director, MMTCC, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. I deepest thanks to organizing committee and all the staff for their hard work, dedication, and meticulous planning. I would like to recognize the tireless effort of everyone behind the scenes to ensure the smooth execution of this program. My sincere gratitude to all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you.
सर कंटिन्यू करायचं आहे की
नाही,
ब्रेक घेऊन
एक मी
पुढचा
येतो जरा
सेशन
मला
नाही?
एक थोडं मला बाहेर 10 मिनिट. करू का लिहू? हॅलो.
Sir, if it is your single or only one session, you may leave, sir, no doubt.
Okay. You are in the for this next session, you are resource person?
We don't know, but if you are informed that there is only one session for you, then you
Chalo,
may
okay,
leave,
okay.
sir.
Actually,
In fact, I am participant. I am not coordinator.
Acha, you are the participant.
Yeah.
From?
But what is the information with you? Is it single session or double session for you?
Double from this, I think double session.
So you may continue or you may take the break and inform when to rejoin.
I want to take the break. For
how many minutes, sir?
Now there is 12:45.
So sharp at 1, we can rejoin?
At 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
So, my dear friends, we can join at 1 p.m. and we can leave the meeting for a short while. That is what I think as a delegate or participant like you. Do you agree with me?
Indian Institute of Petroleum, Dehradun. It is
जमलं मला ते जमत होतं जमलं घेतलं का ओके बर थँक्यू साडेतीन म्हणले असं का
सर म्हणते घेतो ना चांगले सर
असं ना ते जाम होते ना मग ते जाम होते पण मग इतकं लांबून येऊन हा हा इतकं लांबून येऊन
कारले माझं मी जाऊन काय करायचं आपल्या तर
आहे
साडेतीन
कुठले निवडचे नाही किती
हा
काय करेन
काय
लई बेकार
विचारतो मग चाललो मी गेलो मी चाललो माझ्या डिपार्टमेंटला सांभाळा तुम्ही हे काय नाही म्हणता येते काय म्हणता नाही
त्यांची चाललेली पण हा नाही आम्ही येत सर मी एकला थांबलो म्हणलं आता हा एकला जिकडे तिकडे खाला खलास आता नाही परत आज तेवढा कोर्स कम्प्लीट करून टाकितो आता शेवट आहे कोर्स आठवड्याचा केलेला आज संपला तेवढा 4 वाजता होईल त्याचा समारोप लय किचकट झाले आता लय किचकट येत काही करायला येते ते आता
रोल नंबर 39 तुमचा साऊंड ऑन आहे आणि सगळ्या तुमच्या चर्चा ऐकू येत आहेत इथं ग्रुपवर. रोल नंबर 39.
ह्याच्यामध्ये कॉन्फरन्स पब्लिश करायचं ना ते हो ओके सर हो सर चालेल सर Yes. That's what.
Land use land power analysis of electricity by using geospatial techniques. Sorry. Yeah.
ओके का
Hello? 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 Shall I start my presentation? Hello? Hello?
हाँ सर
हाँ सर शुरू करो.
हो सर बस करा सर.
हाँ, renewable energy technologies for this agri-food production chain here. Now, in this growing sector of say agriculture, it is necessary, or you can say it's a task to convert here the raw food material or say agriculture food or crop into the final products by means of, say, renewable energy, which has played this vital role.
रिटर्न का त्यामध्ये आपण चेक करून फाईल रिटर्न का डिलीट
Vital role in developing Indian economy.
रोल नंबर
So,
60 तुमचा साऊंड ऑन आहे.
the
रोल
different
नंबर
operators
60.
here, they
वर
train
काढल्यावर
integrating
पण
leading
होते ना तिथं
fertilizer
काय म्हणलं
applications,
माहिती का?
spraying,
मला लय
harvesting,
चक्कर येते.
transportation,
मला पाणी द्या
irrigation,
सर
and
माझ्या
these
तोंडात
drying
पाणी
products. The population
द्या की
growth
सर
of
पाणी
this
मागायला तशी त्यांना चक्कर यायला लागली सर
economic
दिलं पाणी
technological
आता तेवढं
development,
तिथून खाली
urbanizations,
मला
and the climate change and the energy demands
डोक्याला
also increasing
काय
at
काम
this
नसेल
rapid
बरं का
speed.
हा.
By this
हो
2035, the demands of this energy were projected to increase the 50%. The high input cost to produce the food from this agriculture will result increase the prices, cascading to this poverty and this hunger, and this return food insecurity, particularly under the developing countries. Adopting this, maintaining the balanced food between this energy demands and this economy acts as a significant role in the sustainable agriculture goals. Now, interpretations of this energy usage, agriculture, and this high input would be addressable, adopting the renewable sources and this better energy management. Now, what are the energy sources, renewable sources available? The thermal, it may be of this electrical, it may be of the thermal, or we can say the wind. They are substantially used for the agricultural application from our field to the direct product, or we can say the end product. Now, what are the future of this India in concerns of this? That is the fossil fuel dependence, the energy capacity is of this fossil is 70%, while 40% of the fossil fuels depends upon the import of the oil. Now, growing energy demands and these renewable ambitions near about at this 2030, it should be of say the 100 gigawatt. Here, the today's energy situation, the global primary energy consumptions by the source are here the chart shows just some ideas about this consumption of say, fuel, oil, natural gas, coal, hydro, and this nuclear. Now, this nuclear energy generally now is used at these two stations in this India, at this Baroda and Lasalgaon, and here the DRC. They are satisfactorily used here to convert, you can say, to prevent the food products, agricultural food products for the final application or this end use. Now, trends of this world energy consumption of the fossil fuels. Now, the future energy crisis to consider near about this or above this decade of this 2030 years, most increasing of this demand of this global energy is predicted about this 50%. Now, the agri-food sector accounts for this 30% of this global energy demands. However, these fossil fuels lines initiate food prices and this return security. Now, the GDP of agri-food chain and CAG emissions Indicator sharing of this approximately 10 of this CO2 greenhouse gases emitted by the global agri-food sectors. Means what are the maximum greenhouse gases are from the agriculture fields. Now, you can hear the case study. The purpose of this study is real world case studies where they analyze across three agri-food value chains and the cross-cutting technology. The regional diversity was emphasized to capture different socio-economic and agricultural systems. Because what happens here, the economy or GDP of this India, near about 7.8%, is correlated with the socio-economic and as well as the agriculture sectors. The focus regions included here the for this Red Africa, Asia, South Asia, and this America. The core findings of this year, the energy saving reduction is GSE reduction implementation must not be compared for this livestock productivity. Energy intensity can indicate the efficiency of movements, but the gigajoule per ton products is more meaningful when the yield changes over. The sustainability assessment must also include water diversity, impact, land use, change. Now, this if you see in the case of say agriculture, these three factors are very important. What is the water quality of this water? Biodiversity impacts here because in this each and every sectors or area of agriculture, this is the important factor. As you can say, the one of the crop is cultivated by the farmers, and they consume more power from that area. Therefore, the biodiversity is full in these cases. That is land use change. Whatever the conversion of this renewable energy, it requires the less than. If you say for the inconvenience, the example, the solar panel electricity station as well as the wind power stations, the area required for this land, or we can say the land requires for this wind power is less than this, comparable less than this in the case of say solar electricity. This is the one major drawbacks of this solar electricity. Now, the energy demands in this agriculture, the energy demands in agriculture includes the irrigation, fertilization, and the tools and the machinery used for this land preparation, planting, harvesting, and transport. The future agriculture forms should be self-reliant, offset a high energy cost, and the global warming using renewable energy sources and efficient nutrient cycles. The energy in agriculture can be used directly or in this indirectly. Now, then this agriculture irrigations and the fertilization. Here, for this irrigation is the two types. From this bore, we can say the tube wells, open wells, and say from the dam. That is the gravity irrigation. We say that. This demands the power is different in the different areas. However, the fertilization nowadays there are some units in India. They generates the fertilization fertilizers with the help of see these renewable energies. Suppose some system requires the particular temperature that can also generate simply the thermocouples, different type of thermocouples you can say to generate here the fertilizer. Now fertilizer, that is the organic And we can say, as well as second is the biofertilizers. This biofertilizer now has the wide wide applications in the organic farming. Now the demand for to generate the fertilizer, organic fertilizer, it requires the renewable energy sources. That is the generally the thermal sources are needed for that. Actually, what happens? The Maharashtra government has already support the farmers the solar electricity in for the applications. Sometimes in the remaining time or say the 0 hours of the irrigations, they can use that power for these fertilization generations. The number of say the bacterial growth, earthworm fertilizer, we can also say the fermentation process, they need the temperature, not the excess than the 50%, but we require to maintain the continuous temperature of that systems, or we can say that infrastructures. Here, the second is the tools. We can use the different agriculture tools, say the harvesters, cutters, drill machines. From that, the extra connectivity to the solar control system for the heats. Now, the preparation of land, sometimes of nowadays, they for the cultivations or the plugging, the farmers now uses the battery operated instruments, that is rotavator tractors. They require the electric power, which is cheapest. Now, whatever the solar electricity installed by this farmer and jointly installed by this government, they utilize to charge that devices satisfactorily to get the efficient power. Therefore, they can also support to this use of conventional sources. Therefore, emission of greenhouse gases should be minimized definitely. The future of agriculture farms should be self-reliant to offset the human energy cost and global energy using renewable energy sources and efficient nutrients recyclings. Now, what happens here? The agriculture waste should be converted into one form into this another forms with this minimum cost. If you use here the conventional sources, they have the tendency to increase the ambient temperature or surrounding temperature. Also, the sources are the efficient nutrient cycles. This nutrient cycle is important because whatever the nutrient generated in the plant's food here, it depends upon the temperature. Now, in these previous sessions, there is a one that is a entropy of the systems. Now, the entropy from the when the radiation from the core of this sun due to the fission reactions, when it enters in this layer, different layer towards the earth, what happens here? The entropy of systems goes on this increasing toward this earth due to this hot and this hotness and this coldness. And therefore, this entropy system is forced to do the work, something. And whatever this entropy, it should be utilized for this different work to generate the particular nutrients and this particular, say, the atmosphere developed by this shade net, likewise here. Now, these entropies generated in these PV solar plates as well as the thermal systems, and another the number of we can say the non-conventional devices here to generate the electricity. Whatever the energy generated, we can convert it in the form of, say, is according to the Einstein formula is equal to the mc square. You can utilize to here to convert this potential energy, because this entropy, the system has that potential energy to convert into this kinetic energy. We need some efficient amount of energy stored to store the energy in the form of, say, thermal liquid, or nowadays thermal, different type of thermal oil used, and this device continue work on that produces the kinetic energy, and as we get the kinetic energy, we can have the number of energy converters in the country now. The energy in the agriculture can use directly or indirectly. Definitely, we use that entropy energy directly to the devices, or indirectly, depends upon its utility. Because at sometimes what happens, our requirement is in terms of, say, some watts, and in some devices we require in terms of, say, kilowatts. If you have the watts, then we can the number of devices or converters required is less, and the system becomes the efficient. Now, the indirect energy can include the energy needed to produce the fertilizer and these chemicals. Now, in this last of this 2000, before that 2008, the use of fertilizers in agriculture increased 6 times to fulfill the growing demands for food with increase to world population. Around this 1 to 2% of this total world energy is consumed to produce fertilizer for agriculture. Now, the use of this fertilizer and further increase many force to meet the growing demands for the food, hence increasing the demands for the energy for the agriculture sector. Now, if you take the example of this fertilizers and this chemical, nowadays the technical, the solar energy from this, the infrastructure, we can use converts that the some fertilizer, that is the nitrogen, phosphorus, and this potassium, which are the basic fertilizers. That is, we can say that it is NPK in terms of, say, the nano groups. Nowadays, the Indian government, state central government factory, that is the RCF, Rashtriya Chemical and this fertilizer, they provide the nano fertilizers to the farmer with minimum prices. Now, for example, you take the 1 nano urea, the 1 liter of this nano urea has the price of near about the 500. However, the one bag means 50 kg of this urea, the cost of, say, 300, but there is a subsidy on this urea bag is 1,700. Means how much this huge amount of this fertilizer subsidy should be the lower down by means of, say, this nanotechnology. Secondly, the DAP, potash, there are a number of fertilizer is available, nano fertilizer. They uses that solar energy systems to their conversion change. Now, the agriculture now 6 times fulfill the growing the demands. Now, what happens here? Nowadays, the growth, or we can say the yield of this agriculture yield is 2 to 6% or times larger than the predicted by this government. This is due to because of say the nanotechnology as well as this biofertilizer. The use of these biofertilizers and these nanofertilizers, the contaminations in these food materials, we can say the our vegetables, leafy vegetables, you know very well near about this fruits. The contamination is the generally we can say the most contamination is of say K40 activity as well as the CCM activity from these mines. Because what happens here, the DAP, most useful utility fertilizer in this India is DAP. This DAP is imported from this Dakshin Africa. The cost is near about very much high. That is this 500 to 5,000 to 6,000 per quintal, means 100 kg. Where it gets subsidized in this 1,700 likewise here. Actually, what happens here, due to utility of these biofertilizers, NPK nanofertilizers, the production cost of this each agriculture products significantly decreases here. What happens here, if you take the example of say K40 activity, generally K40 here, there is fertilizer potassium, means potassium chloride. This is we can say in the Marathi that is the Senda Namak. तुम्ही सेंदा नमक म्हणतात त्याला. That is, it must also have some percentage of say K40 activity. की त्याच्यामध्ये त्याच्यात काही एक K40 ची activity. Now this K40 is a radioactive isotope which emitting say the beta particles, which is very harmful to our body. You know very well the basic fertilizer potash. You say some example. I will give you an example of say teal oil. You take the example simple teal oil, or say the leafy fertilizer, leafy व्हेजिटेबल्स म्हणजे तुम्ही त्याला काय म्हणतात पालक म्हणतात त्याला जनरली दे युअर प्रॅक्टिस मेडिसिनर generally ask you to eat these leafy vegetables, tea like this. We use this tea oil and tea laddu in this generally in these seasons, winter seasons, because due to this emission of this beta particle, which is contaminated in this that oil as well as this tea, will generate the heat. Therefore, we cannot say that due to this generation of the heat, we can say the entropy of our body, it definitely increases. Now, if you take the phantom body of our body, there are major it's lungs, brains, stomachs, like this, all this. Now, these every body parts, each has definitely different compositions. The part which contains the maximum iron is affected by means of this K40 activity. And what happens due to this K40 activity, generates the entropy, and this entropy generates here the multiplication of these cancer cells. Now, this multiplication of cancer cells, you know very well. What is the net of this increasing of this cancer cell? The net disease is here, the cancer. Therefore, in this, according to this physics and chemistry, I can say we can say that this cancer is a entropic device, like this. Whatever its medical definition is that is the multiplication, growth of unwanted cells, likewise here. But according to this chemistry and this physics, it is a entropic disease, or the disease generated by the heat by at this particular and this heat is continuous exposed to our tissues, and these tissues then generate or multiply likewise. This is the one drawback of this actually the fertilizer. But by using these biofertilizer and this nano fertilizer, the risk is completely zero here. By also improving the better economy to this farmer. Now here, the use of fertilizers is further increasing to meet the growing demands. Now here, nowadays, what happens? The demand of this agriculture food, grains is less as the production. Production जास्त झालं, production ज़्यादा हो रहा, उसका demand कम हो रहा. Therefore, what happens? The cost of that, the grains, foods goes on this decreasing, and there is a loss of this economy. Whatever the farmers now current trend in Maharashtra is to sell the cultivated land to the builders or this businessman. Now, here this direct energy includes the energy consumed directly in the various agriculture activities. For the instance, to operate tool and machinery for different forms activity, vehicles used for the transportation and drying, and refrigeration equipments. Decreasing groundwater level needs the heavy energy to pump the water for this irrigation. The drying process involves heat and mass transfer, hence is high energy demanding process. Demanding for this energy usage in the agriculture is increased and causing the load on the electricity. Now, the direct energy consumption to this various area activity and to drive the different tools and this machinery as well as transportations, refrigerations. Yeah, now there is increasing from this last decade here. Generally here, one example, best example of say the refrigeration. Here the farmer installed here the cold storage to store their fruits as well as some you can say the fishery productions. Now in this Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, and some parts of say Maharashtra, they use the cold storage to maintain the economy of farmers or hiking of these prices. Because here the good example of hiking prices is of say the onion, because we cannot decide the economy of this onion. The economy of onion is only decided by the environment. The decrease in the ground level needs the heavy to pump the water for irrigation. Now what happens? This groundwater utility nowadays, now in these current positions, it is minimized near about this 20% by this drip irrigations. Because what happens here from this current year and the current agriculture exports in that agriculture export, that is they show there is one development, we can say the patented work in the drip irrigation by the Israel. Now Israel provides that drip irrigation, they whatever they invented in the Punjab, Uttar Pradesh and this Maharashtra, not for the all state. Now there is a merit figure of this drip irrigation, invented drip irrigation, that they does not require any high power pumps, because higher power pumps continue requires the drip to drive the normal operation of drips. We require 2 kg pressures. Now to obtain this 2 kg pressures, we needs 5 HP electric motor or pumps, 5 to 10 HP. But new invention in this Israel scientists. What happens here? They doesn't require any electric power. They require only the gravity of the 2 feet of liquid of water. 2 और 3 और 4 फुट ज्यादा ज्यादा यूज करके, वो ग्रेविटी यूज करके लेवल पानी की, वाटर की, they can easily handle that this system to the thousands of the feet like this here without any excessive power. You only needs only the 1 HP of motor and level monitor to continuous work day night here. Therefore, the water goes, or you can say, whatever the utility of this groundwater or well water is prevented. Now, drying process, heat and mass. Now, what happens here? The production of this fruits and vegetables, as well as some grains in this winter season, is of this in the dominant, means at a very high production rate. But comparative to this market price, it cost is not the economical. Whatever the production and the ratio of this production and to the expenditure or production cost is not here the convenient to the farmer now. Therefore, the government provides here subsidized instruments, solar instruments here to convert here heat and the transfer of this mass throughout the certain domes, or say the glassware, or we can say the convention of it by means of thermal devices. Likewise here. Now, these are satisfactorily installed in the various part of, say, the country here. I can say, we can say one example, best example in this Himachal. They uses the solar dryer for this lychee lighting. In this Maharashtra, generally we prefer for this that is the you can see the leafy vegetables, that is the methi, palak, as well as the brinjal, then the lady's finger, then some fruits, then say the red berries, then green berries, as well as some grains. That is very useful for the efficient storage, and we can also to sell and in the out seasons. Now, demand for this energy usage in the agriculture is increasing and causing the load on the electricity. I would say that is there is the invention of, say, Israel technique, drip irrigations. They require only 10% of power. Now, whatever the supply to this agriculture sector, in future, I think to the next decade, it may be of only the 10%, because each and every electrical devices are prepared by the national and international ISO agencies. The machinery is of the completely under observation of this international standard. Therefore, there is a no problem of efficiency. The main challenges of this local agriculture energy systems might be following here. This is one example of, say, there is a harvester for this. Is a number of cultivated product is here used for the harvesting here. Jawars, wheats, like here, and the operating device to this here, the conventional oil engines or the electric motors. Definitely, in this work is in progress. Only this D. Therefore, the solar panels, which are already installed at the wells, open wells of the farmers, we can have the by using the transmission lines or cables. It is easily to uh, harvest this our products. Now, understanding the agri-food chain to reduce the energy consumptions. Here, the previously the farmer doesn't know the various applications of renewable sources. Therefore, they use only this conventional oils and gases here. Now, the examples of here, the milk value change. Now, the milk value chain, from this, there are not, the chain is not here the simple, but is the start and this end. They consist a number of blocks or go through a number of chains blocks is here. 1, 2, then heating, then cooling, and then processing, and then say by using the different type of say machineries, then it extract a number of byproducts from this milk. Similarly, to this rice value plan change can be efficiently uses the renewable sources at these different stages. Stages means it is for only the harvested, and you see the previous slides, that is the biofertilizer and nano fertilizers. Because the farmers in the Punjab, they uses the wholesale use of this fertilizer, that is they just generally the NPK nitrogen as well as this DAP. The food is continuously, or we can say the contaminated. Whatever it's due to its contaminations, water get also contaminated. Yeah. There is a environmental problems. Entropy of this section or region is also the increases. Therefore, the cost gets reduced due to this renewable change. Rice production value change from this cultivating to processing to all this. Now, if you use the hybrid devices, or as you can say the hybrid renewable devices, suppose you install some factory, small factory, then you can use here the solar energy as well as the wind energy, as well as here the thermal energy. From these various reflectors, we can simply generate the high tension power supply to generate operate all these devices. For example, here, suppose the steam engine requires the heat, the steam of sufficient high temperature is required to generate here the steam from this water. Therefore, only some 20 to 30% of conventional energy used to generate, means fossil fuels from this agriculture waste can be also used to operate the steam engines, and then it is connected to the generators. Now, as this unit is installed at this same place of this industry or infrastructure, it doesn't require the complex design of this various MPTT device. Likewise here, there is no problem of Q line problems. We can say that is a load line. There is no problem for this load line design, or we can say the Q operating point of the systems, which is when it is the key point at the long distance power supply or in the electrifications. direct and indirect energy consumption under different village operation for these rice productions. And each and every conversion requires the power. Vegetable value change. Now, whatever the, if you simply take the example of the, say, the vegetable methi, which is this, there is the enormous output of this agriculture now. In this leafy veg and this methi, the cost is now about 4 bundles in this 10 rupees. तुम्हाला जर मी सांगितलं तुम्हाला की 10 रुपयामध्ये 4 त्याच्या मेथीच्या जुड्या येतात. Can this the cost is effective or economy? There is a loss of economy in that. We cannot sell out that with that price. Therefore, we could convert from this one form into this another forms by using the different type of solar dryers. They use simple dryers. We can dry permanently, and we can refill that vegetables. And finally, it requires the IR and EV and VR infrared spectrum scanning to some mites should be available in that vegetable during the process of drying. By packing these dried vegetables, we can have the different outlets. And this, say, the Flipkart, DMart, Amazon, like this. The farmers can be easily increase the utility and demand of these dried vegetables and the fruit. The cross-cutting technologies in agriculture food value chain. The value chain analyze vegetables, paddy rice, and this milky product. Now, whatever the requirement of this each food products, requirement is the pumping, chain, then cold, then tractor performance, fertilizer, transport, like this here. Because the start to end of this fertilizer product is very difficult by these farmers. Therefore, some groups of, say, farmers are registered in the Maharashtra as well as the place of this Maharashtra. There are the one group in this Maharashtra farmer group to handle all these systems are the, I think, the Sahyadri Agro farms, and there are 2 to 3 farms near about the Pune and this Kolhapur. They have the good knowledge of this agri-food change, and they export the food to the European country as well as this the ASEAN country here to have the value added product. The energy inputs into the clusters being production in this energy India. Part of this fertilizer. Renewable sources of the energy in the agriculture sector and the efficient energy management practices will be relieve grid load and reduce input cost, which ensure food security and these issues. Integrated energy strategy. The renewable energy substituted for this fossil fuels is a common solution across all the value chain. Application includes electricity generation, cooling and refrigeration, heating systems, agriculture, transport, and food processing operations. Now, generally, what happens here, the food processing system needs the integrated the strategy. Nowadays, here the company suppose how the its high voltage requirement, STA voltage requirement is near about say 100 kilowatts. The company also installed the 50 to 60 kilowatt the solar panel plant on the upper side of this their infrastructure, or we can say they install on this mounts on this remaining space of the industry. Because what happens during the food process, that is the food transfer from the one farm, second farm, three farms, and then finally it is for this completely transfer to this cooling and refrigeration. Each and every converter requires the electric power. Therefore, the major power is required in the food industry rather than the other industries. Biomass energy in pathways, they generated from this agriculture resides and the food processing. Then what are the agriculture waste? Now in the Punjab you said they are the agriculture waste and they burn out to, or we can say they clean out the area for the next cultivation. And at that same time, the environment also get violated by this emission of this carbon dioxide, as well as there are number of gases also evaporated due to burning of other things, just like this plastics, woods, likewise it is. To prevent this, the renewal system is better here. Now, the government has provided them some tractor-operated devices to collect here the agriculture waste, and this waste can be utilized to generate to have the raw oven raw burning material for these ovens, boilers, as well as for this the wheat bhatti. Generally, wheat bhatti they uses this agriculture waste, and the major agriculture wastage of say from this rice, or you can say the parati, let's say in the Punjab, in Himachal, uses for this the production of the what are the productions in this cold space. Forget that their productions. That is the by developing there's some bacterial growth on that. Do you know about that? Bacterial growth. That is just like the chhatri, we can say that. Now, they applied on farms and in processing plant for off-site energy, like we say. Mushroom, that I know. This is the this agriculture waste generally for the producing the mushrooms, different type of mushrooms in the Himachal, because the environment of Himachal is compatible to generate this mushroom. This requires the moisture. How can we reduce the energy demands and the GHG emissions in the agri-food change? The conversion agriculture, minimum soil disturbance, permanent soil cover for the moisture conservation, crop rotation and diversification, lower fuel consumption, reduce irrigation energy, lower indirect energy for the weed control. Now, this weed control by means of different systems, that is by using this biopesticide and organic pesticide are is used. As I earlier told you that it is the biomaterial is generally used to control this weed here. The energy efficiency of this can be increased by the now advanced drip irrigation systems. Therefore, we can minimize and avoid the diesel or non-conventional pumps which operates on that engines, and promotion of solar and this wind power pumping is utilized. Now, how can we reduce the energy demand and the emissions at the agri-food chain? Okay, so we can have the conservation of agriculture as well as the efficient water pumpings. Energy demands for the irrigation can be reduced by here. Selecting now using the gravity supply where possible, using the efficient design of electric motors, sizing pumping system to crop actual water requirements, choosing the efficient water pump design that are they correctly matched to the suit the task, performing the pump maintenance regularly, using the low air distribution sprinkler systems or the drip irrigation in row crops. Generally, I observe in the farm that farmers does not have any knowledge, design knowledge of this pumping and these irrigation systems. They uses the jugards, different type. 1 minute. Ritesh. Hello. Oh, yes. They uses different jugaad systems in designing the equipments, generally the irrigation pumps as well as the electric water fittings, and likewise the number of things are there. They doesn't have the knowledge of the standardization. Therefore, they must survey their farm by the peoples, government peoples, which are government people from this some centralized Krishi Vidyapits as well as the state government, Krishi Vidyalay, Mahavidyalay. They know very well idea of utility of this energy with efficient manner. Now, in the drip irrigation, they actually the design consideration of this drip as well as all the systems are by the general personalities. Therefore, it is very difficult to achieve these factors in the future. Floating solar power system is here. Now, this is best example of this floating solar power system now started at the Python, where the Jayakodi Dam is located. The dam is very big, which has this capacity of 104 TMT, and it is the second dam in this Maharashtra. Near about this backwater is near about this 30 to 40 kilometers. A lot of area, surface area is available to generate the solar electricity. Now, this is an example shown in this is Visakhapatnam. It is big, but in the case of say Maharashtra now, they have started to floating solar power systems, which continuously providing now here the no land acquisition, then dual benefits, then reduces the operating losses and improves the panel efficiencies. A number of factors are here considered during the designing of the system. The agri-voltaics, that is solar agriculture coexistence here. Generally, what happens in the solar agriculture systems, they use the number of sheds for these cows, buffaloes, or any say there the storerooms. They use that solar system. Or nowadays, some solar covers are used to protect their crops, or we can say the net crops. Net roof is used to prevent the some, or we can say to abstract some type of radiations. Application is here the efficient land and resource utilization, climate resilient energy infrastructure, sustainable rural development, future ready renewable integrations. Generally now, the number of farmers have now increased or have the tendency to go in this direction. The solar pumps nowadays, the Maharashtra government, that is, I already told that is the Mukhyamantri Kushi Yojana has been satisfactorily run in this Maharashtra. Near about this 1 lakh of pumps are installed satisfactorily nowadays and working without any difficulties. Solar robotics for this precision farming. Now, the solar powered robotic systems enable the automated seed and the field operation, reduces dependence on this manual labor and fossil fuel machineries. Then also the design for the small and marginal farmers, affordable mechanism, enhance precision in seed placement and crops uniformity, support sustainability farming through renewable energy, irrigation, energy flow, solar energy, electrical energy, and mechanical motion of to the agriculture operations. Now, for this, when the devices are in the motions, the systems can be designed as per our requirement, which uses the solar plates. Therefore, here the plates of having 7 to 800 watt is used. Solar spares for the smart crop protection. Nowadays, some manufacturers or producer they use this type of systems. Generally, what happens in this remote area, we can't have the power to charge the battery of these spraying devices. Whatever the amount of the voltage required, near about this 6 to 12 volt, I think it requires only the 6 volt of this power, small battery of this 20 mAh. Therefore, we have this sufficient of the 100 watt solar plate may be used, and which has the weight of the nominal 2 to 3 kg. This can be on this. There's the back size of fitting. This the farmer. We have the work without any disruption. The solar logistics and rural electrified transport nowadays it is wholesale use. But one disadvantage of the system is that here the vehicles in the urban areas, that is whatever the battery operated vehicles of having, which consumes near about the 30 to 40 units per charging. Say if you say for the Tata Nexon at the single charging, they requires 22 to 25 units And here the one units for the commercial is 10 to 12 rupees. Means whatever now nowadays this the persons which has this type of devices, they charges their devices at this remote area, and they are cheating to the government. Solar assisted drying system in this agri-food chain. This is the here. This system is now convenient without any risk, environmental there, as well as the Mahila Bachat Gat. Generally in the Maharashtra, there are number of Mahila Bachat Gats in the Maharashtra as well as this India. They need the loan to borrow, to purchase this type of instruments or infrastructures, that is the glass systems, or you can say the roof systems, to do this drying this agri foods here. The number of foods we can now, it depends upon our utility. Now types of solar drying, number of dryers is now here there, because here the entropy, as I said already, that entropy can be easily now converted to the generated energy. It may be of, say, in terms of the potential, at least of the kinetics, no problems. Here, this is the one of the, here the figure, cross-sectional figure of, say, the drying systems. You can also install simple glass type of dryer at your home. Nowadays, the vegetables are is of the we can say the very less of the price. Then we can also have the increase the economy of or cooperate this farmer by purchasing more purchasing of these vegetables and to dry them for the to continue source in forever. Force circulation solar dryers. And generally, they prefer because they are the effective efficiency of this type of the devices is very good. With they have there is no problem of the moisture, because the nature is the key point in this type of solar dryers. Now the converters, raw crops, number of here the crops. Now which replaces the now this conventional the atoms, wood atom, firewood, fossils, electric dryers are completely now replaced, and there is nothing is the space in the urban areas now due to the LPG gas available by this subsidy. Solar distillation for the iron extractions. We can have also the distillation for the oil extractions. Now, as I say, that is distillation. There is one more good example of distillation. The cities which are located at this coastal area of the sea, the water is contaminated due to the sodium chloride, and this number of impurities like the lead, bismuth, high Z impurity is available in that. Therefore, at the coastal area, this distillation plant is now installed to get the distilled water or the pure water here, rather than these oil extractions, because this oil extraction requires the more power, and this water distillation requires the less power. Therefore, at this some remote areas, or say generally at the sea, that is the number of you can say the small ships. The ships require here the solar water distillations. This is particular unit to generate all these things. Here, distillation is another with another systems. sustainability benefits, low carbon footprints, renewable energy, based processing reduces deforestation, circular economy in agriculture, improves rural energy dependence. Likewise here, number of benefits we have. Solar food processing companies. Generally, maximum companies are located in this Gujarat here to generate all this economy aspects. Nowadays, hybrid system is used. 3 to 4 converters are there. The energy security, reliability, here continuous steam generations sometimes, but reduces the dependence on the pyro, then fossils. Sometimes at the night, if you want to 24/7, they can also use that conventional product. Biomass energy, here you know very well about that. For the fermentation process, they use the bioenergy value change. Number of applications, number of stages, number of applications, because the imagination is beyond your thinking. Importance in the renewable energies, whatever it may be, that is a carbon neutral energy cycle, convert waste into energy, reduces landfill, then supports circular economy, rural energy, then biomass conversion technologies. Nowadays, this standard technology is used to convert this biomass at each and every city, urban cities, metropolitan city now available. Then biogas plants, this also requires sometimes the thermal operation, then output cooking fuel, electricity generation, heat, organic, renewable waste, energy, zero emission, then biogas, then this agriculture importance of this biogas, number of farmers uses this type of system in the rural area, biomass and biogas solutions demands. Now, thank you very much by listening me. There is much disturbance today in me due to some technical reasons, but okay. This I also appreciate to Dr. N.N. Sangam, which has this prepared this slide in this very few hours like this here. Nowadays, now at this currently, I received this slide at this 1 p.m. Now, thank you very much. Best of luck. Hello. Hello.
हा सर
हाँ संपलं मॅडम माझं.
होय होय सर.
So participant, I request to propose the vote of thanks. Vote of thanks करा.
आज vote of thanks ला कोणाचा रोल नंबर आहे प्लीज.
मी म्हणलं नाही अकॅडमिक स्टँडलाच आहे पूर्ण.
Who is going to propose?
मॅडम. हाँ मैडम.
Who is the proposer vote of thanks?
जी
हेलो.
हॅलो.
Who is going to propose the vote of thanks?
सर मी मराठीमध्ये आभार मानू का?
हाँ मॅडम मराठीतच.
हो चालेल.
आणि
सर,
हॅलो.
जी
बिफोर दॅट मी तुम्हाला एक सांगू इच्छितो, तुम्हाला कोणाला
जी सर.
हे तुम्हाला कोणाला ऍग्रिकल्चर फील्ड मध्ये जर याच्यात काही काम करायचं असेल, then you can ask me some things if you require, because we are interested in the next year. I am also installing the one of the plant, solar plant for the agriculture waste as well as the food processing. If you want cooperation, then you can also ask me. मला विचारू शकता तुम्ही कधी. आणि सकाळची जी स्लाइड होती माझी, आय एम व्हेरी सॉरी फॉर दॅट बिकॉज I cannot run that PDF file. I don't know. That is the PDF file will not load on that. Therefore, in the morning session, I cannot satisfactorily deliver that lecture, and therefore I am sorry for that. Okay.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you.
Let it be. It's technical problem.
बोला मॅडम.
यस सर. आपण जे सकाळपासून आम्हाला वेगवेगळ्या विषयांवरती आणि वेगवेगळी उदाहरणं देऊन जे पॉवर सिस्टम आहे आणि आता नव्याने काय काय करायला हवं, जे नवीन आलं ते आपण घरामध्ये आणि बाहेरच्या जगामध्ये वापर करायला हवा, हे जे तुम्ही वेगवेगळ्या मार्गांनी आम्हाला सांगितलं, तसं बघितलं तर काही स्लाइड आता दिसल्या नाही, पण तुमच्या बोलण्यामधून जो संदेश आम्हाला मिळालेला आहे हा अर्थपूर्ण आहे आणि त्यातून आम्हाला चांगल्यापैकी ज्ञान मिळेल आणि पुढच्या पिढीला सुद्धा हे ज्ञान देण्याचं काम शिक्षकांनी, प्राध्यापकांनी करावं मला असं वाटतं. आणि विशेषतः आता तुम्ही म्हणालात की कोणकोणत्या ठिकाणी जर समजा कुणाचे विद्यार्थ्यांचे काही क्लासेस घेता येऊ शकते का, विद्यार्थ्यांना काही मार्गदर्शन करता येऊ शकतं का, किंवा हे वेगळं मार्गदर्शन सोलर प्लॅनचं कुठे होऊ शकतं का, तर याचा पण एक आढावा तुम्ही आम्हाला वैयक्तिकरित्या दिला तरी चालू शकेल सर. आणि मग विद्यापीठाच्या तर्फे MTTCच्या तर्फे आणि डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर मराठवाडा विद्यापीठ याच्यातर्फे, विभागाच्या तर्फे, आयोजकांच्या तर्फे आपलं मनापासून खूप खूप आभार मानते.
धन्यवाद मॅडम. सर्वांचे आपले आभार. धन्यवाद.
Yes,
धन्यवाद सर. धन्यवाद.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. So participant, you can leave this meeting, rejoining